Okay, so last night, which would have been April the 5th, that would have been Tuesday, I was speaking on the phone with my Christian brother, Ron, and the girls, Misha and Hippie, or Hippie and Misha, were on the bed sleeping. And I was just looking in the direction where Hippie was laying sleeping, and I was just watching her while I was talking to Ron. And the next thing I know, she jerks up and she goes into a convulsion, and she's like locked and twisted in one position, and her mouth is just contorted, drool coming everywhere out of her mouth. And I honestly thought she was having a heart attack. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I told him, Ron, I think Hippie's having a heart attack. And I jumped on the bed and I grabbed her. I said, Hippie, you're okay. And she was so stiff. She was locked up, and then it seemed like she was fading away. And I thought I was losing her. So I started rubbing her chest, and I didn't know what to do. I did a poor imitation of a CPR move, compressing her chest, pushing her chest, trying to, I didn't know. And I was about to, put my mouth on her muzzle and try to give her CPR. And then she kind of like calmed down, but then it looked like she was just going. And I said, the whole entire time, I'm like, Ron, I'm losing her. I think I'm losing her. So I called this morning, Pulaski Animal Hospital, right? We've been there since they were puppies. Maybe no more, maybe than, several, Hippie, maybe several months, Misha over a year. But they're established, clients there for almost 14 years, going on 15. I called at 8:30, I think, 8:31. Though the office doesn't open till 9, I thought maybe, because I needed to get her in, to have her looked at. So I call, nobody answers, so I said, that's fine. I kept calling. I called at 9 o'clock. Finally, a little after 9, I think, someone answers. And I explained to him what happened, and I said, I don't know if it was a stroke or a seizure, because after it happened, I Googled it, everything that I witnessed, and to confirm whether what I saw was either a heart attack or a seizure. And it looked like maybe a seizure, with some of the description and what I witnessed myself. So I called her, this young lady. I explained to her, and she goes, well, it could be one of two things. She had a seizure, or she could have had a stroke. So, if you ask me, either one of those two are serious enough to be, brought in right away, especially if you're established. She claims they're busy, that Dr. Collada's booked. Well, that's fine. I understand that. But take her in. Leave her there until you can be able to see her. At least she's there where someone, I'm hoping, is going to be monitoring, whatever pet's brought there to be left there. Here, after that, she says, well, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. Now, at this time, it was already a little after 9. I waited till 10 minutes after 10 or so. Still no call. So, there's Hippie right there. I got to watch her. No call. So I called back. And then they said, well, we're doing a call-in confirmation with clients to see if they're coming in. I said, okay, but what does that have to do with Hippie? And they said, well, and she, now this is what it kind of threw me off. She made it sound like they didn't know if they could help Hippie. Well, how do you know? I mean, that's the impression I got speaking to this young lady. Maybe she didn't mean what I'm interpreting, okay? But still, that she could, whatever see, what I saw was not normal. This is not what a healthy dog, and she's never done this before. And she was in a sound sleep. You need to bring him in. All right, so now she says, well, I'll call you back in a half hour. The call was at, let me take a look. Let me check my hands, my hands are shaking. I'm just like so upset right now. All right, so just a minute. So far, I made a total of 7 calls to Pulaski Animal Hospital since the time I got up. The last call I spoke to them on was at 4 minutes after 10. And at that point, this young lady says, well, I'll call you in a half hour. It is now 12:17. So I'm going to call them. And I'm going to see what they say, because I'm bringing her in. They've got messages when you have to wait. When they go do something, they put you on hold. You listen to their messages. One part of their messages is, we care about your dogs. Established clients, we'll set up a drop off where, when time permits, we'll look at your pets. Well, that's fine. If that's what you're stating, that should have been stated the very moment I spoke to you or this person about her condition. That hasn't been offered. It seemed like they said that I should go someplace else. What? So I'm going to call them and see what their reasoning is for waiting so long. I'm bringing her in regardless, and I'm going to tell her that. Or whoever answers. Now, hopefully they'll answer. I think they have caller ID. And if they see it's a certain person, they won't answer. I think. That's my opinion. I don't know. That may not be the case. I know since this pandemic started, animal veterinarian hospitals and clinics are twice as busy prior to the pandemic. Now see, no one's picking up.
Thank you for calling Pulaski
Go straight to voice message. Call again, and this time, hopefully you heard that. I will leave a message. Okay, I'm pressing call. Now the line is busy, and it disconnects. This is telling me something else, that they're hanging up. They're not wanting to answer the phone. Again, I can't prove that, but I think I'm going to take her there anyway, because if their parking lot is empty or just one car. All right, the phone's ringing now. We'll see what happens. This is what I have to deal with all the time.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. For office hours.
Oh, I was going to leave a message. Damn it. I'm sorry. Now, this is something in the past as well. Even when I am able to speak to somebody there, and I just need to call, a call back from the doctor, not at that very moment. I always say, when he's done, at the end of his day, he's punched out, if he can just give me a call, and I can speak to them for a few minutes or less. And it's always something that has to do with them, because I'm taking them, or they're in their care at that moment. That's why I'm calling, because they're being treated for something that's occurring at that moment, they say they'll leave the message for the doctor. They don't. Or if they do, he doesn't call. It'll take me 4 days to a week to get a response. And that's just not the doctor. If I ask for their office manager, nope. She won't call. Unless I catch her off guard, then she'll have to talk to me, right? All right, I'm going to call back again. See, my hands are shaking. This is how mad I'm getting. And this affects my health.
Pulaski Animal Hospital, please hold.
Sure. Okay. Listen.
Pulaski Animal Hospital is proud to be named one of the area's top clinics, according to Chicago Magazine. In addition, we're also a member of the American Animal Hospital Association, AHA. AHA sets standards for veterinary hospitals to meet in areas such as patient care, client care, pain management, and many others. We regularly undergo inspections to ensure that we provide the highest quality care possible and make changes according to AHA recommendations to remain progressive as we serve our clients and patients. Ask one of our trained professionals more about AHA standards when we come back. An ounce of prevention can help your pet lead a long and healthy life. Pulaski Animal Hospital recommends an annual fecal exam and annual vaccinations for your pet. Exams screen for internal parasites and diseases, while vaccinations can save them from those that are avoidable. Remember to bring in a fresh stool sample for testing at the time of their appointment. To schedule your pet's annual exam or vaccination, please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment. Spring is the time when we traditionally fertilize our lawns and gardens. Just remember that these chemicals are dangerous to your pets.
Yes, they are.
At Pulaski Animal Hospital, we recommend that you keep your pets indoors during this time. Symptoms of fertilizer poisoning are vomiting and diarrhea, and treatment should be sought as soon as possible. If you suspect that your pet has been poisoned by fertilizer,
shouldn't be with anything as soon as possible. And that's what I did. First thing in the morning. And look how I have to wait. And the girl acknowledges, well, if it's a seizure,
can't decide on whether to spay
okay,
or neuter your pet.
that's
Spaying or
serious.
neutering can prevent unwanted and unloved
If it's a
litter of pets,
if it's a stroke,
and can also improve
I
your
guess
pet's
that's
overall
just as
temperament,
serious, if not more
along
so.
with preventing mammary tumors in females and behavioral problems in males. At Pulaski Animal Hospital, we recommend spaying or neutering your pet before the age of 6 months. For more information on the pros and cons of spaying or neutering, or to make an appointment for your pet, please stay on the line. One of our trained professionals will be with you in a moment.
Okay.
Nobody likes seeing a stray cat or dog wandering around the street or brought to a shelter. At Pulaski Animal Hospital, we offer spaying and neutering services to prevent unloved litters of pets. Spaying and neutering is recommended before 6 months. It can also improve your pet's health and life expectancy and eliminates the possibility of uterine, ovarian, and prostate cancer. We will be happy to answer any questions and schedule your pet's spaying and neutering appointment when we return in a moment. Our animal hospital is proud to be accredited by the American Animal Hospital Association, or AHA. We voluntarily have our hospital inspected by AHA on a regular basis, and our accreditation is their seal of approval on our exceptionally high standards. We pursue our AHA accreditation as a means of showing you just how much we care about your pet. Want to know more about what it means to be AHA accredited? Ask us today. teeth too. Imagine how you would feel if you didn't brush your teeth. Your pets feel the same way. Oral neglect can lead to other serious medical conditions if not corrected. At Pulaski Animal Hospital, we recommend regular checkups for good oral hygiene, professional cleaning and brushing to keep your pet's pearly whites bright and shiny. Ask one of our trained staff members to schedule your pet's dental appointment when we return to the line. Pulaski Animal Hospital wants to remind you that spring is the perfect time for you and your pet to start that new exercise regimen you've been thinking about. Fun and variety are key elements to any successful exercise program and a great way to bond with your pet. For more springtime fun tips, please stay on the line and we'll return in a moment. Pulaski Animal Hospital, how can I help you?
Hi, this is David Ortiz calling for Hippie again. I was told over 2 hours ago that I would get a call back within a half hour. Hippie had either a seizure or a stroke last night, and I've been trying to get a hold of you guys since. I know you don't open till 9, but I tried calling at 8:30. You know, this is something serious.
Yes, and I have heard that they did also refer you out to emergency centers, just because we don't have anything available for him to get seen today. So you would have to give us a call tomorrow morning, have us put you down on that wait list. Unfortunately, we don't have anything available appointment-wise. That's why, since it is a serious issue, he does need to go to the emergency center.
Where's your emergency center?
I am aware that they did send you a list of...
No, nobody sent me anything. Because nobody, even when they told me they were going to call me back, they never called me.
Okay, what is the phone number, and I can check the cell phone.
708-308-6331.
708-308-6331.
Right.
Okay, one moment. Yes, I have here they have sent it to you, and that was at 10:06 a.m.
Listen. Is there anything for tomorrow? Because I don't drive. I have a neighbor that is giving me a ride. Now, my problem is, if I can't get a ride to take her anywhere for tomorrow, that's why. I mean, is there anything you can do just to look at her? I mean, I listen to your voice, your messages that you leave when you put people on hold, and they say for established people, clients, they'll have like a drop off. Can't I just? I mean, wouldn't you just rather have her there and until you could have time to look at her?
Like I said, I would have to speak with a doctor. I don't know who was taking care of you earlier. If they did send you the information to the walk-in clinics and the emergency centers, they most likely spoke with the doctor, and the doctor was aware and recommended that.
Well, that's what you're assuming, though. What is your name? I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Maria.
Maria.
My name is Maria.
Okay. So, what about tomorrow? Would tomorrow make a difference? Would they be able to look at her tomorrow?
Like I said, every day is a new day. Every day we do start a new list, so you would have to give us a call tomorrow morning to be put on that list. I don't guarantee that you will be seen, because like I said, we are booked in advance, and earliest appointment isn't until the 14th.
That's incredible. By that time, something serious could happen.
Yes, but like I said, they did send you the list to emergency centers for you to take her in the soonest.
You can't.
If it is an emergency, it is recommended to take her to the emergency room. Unfortunately, we don't see emergencies because we are a clinic, not a hospital.
Well, wait a minute. Then why does your title cover says hospital? Even in your messages, it says hospital. If you're not a hospital, then you should.
That would have to be taken up with the owner and the manager.
All right, let me check. Make sure that I have it on my phone that you sent me the messages, the text. Let me check. just hope I get this. My ride can be able to drive me there. All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Can you believe that? Okay, so this there's one in Highland, Indiana, one in Aurora, one in Downers Grove, Orland Park. The closest is West Belmont, Medvet, California, and Chicago. The only ones in Chicago, and it would have to be Chicago, would be 3927 West Belmont, Medvet, Chicago, 3325 North California. Hey, you know, I had to hang up from him because I was going to go off. All right, so this is what they're telling me. All right, when I spoke to this girl at 10:04 this morning, she had mentioned this is, you know, almost something like, I got the impression that they weren't capable of taking care of. Yet they claim they're a hospital. It's in their title, in their name, and when you listen to their messages on their voice, on their, like, your wait, that music they play when you're waiting, it says the same thing. They said, because this is serious, I need to go to an emergency room. And I said, okay, well, but in your messages you said, if, you know, established clients, there's drop-offs. Can you not just see her when you got time? She goes, if this is an emergency, you got to take her to an emergency room. Well, that's what I said. And she said, well, this sounds like an emergency. And I said, well, you know, and then they said, the girl said that they sent you a list. I said, nobody sent me anything, because when I spoke to the girl, she said, she didn't state that she was sending me a list. She did make a comment that maybe you should take her or see her in an emergency room because we can't see her, or we can't, we can't treat her, or something like that. Now, I think she said we can't treat her. I took it as they were incapable of doing it, or they were just too busy. I don't know. But she never said that I'm going to send a list of emergency rooms to your text phone number. She never told me that. So when the girl told me that, yeah, you know, check, and sure enough she did, but she didn't tell me she was going to send it. So, all right, so Chuck, the only ones they got in the area is, the closest one is on North California. Yeah. Other than that, they're in the suburbs.
No, they got it. Hold on.
Here, you know what? Here, I'll read you the list they sent me. Okay.
Wait up. Wait up. Hold on. Dear? Is there an emergency room here on the south side for dogs?
Stephanie went to the one at Canal. You have to get the address from I won't call her.
Is this showing one that's on Canal?
Okay, but you know what though, Chuck? You know what I'm just realizing?
No. What?
Pulaski Animal Hospital, I mean, I wouldn't, whatever they're going to charge me, I would have to pay the cash or pay them up front before the service can be done. At Pulaski Animal Hospital, I can make some sort of arrangements, or at least until I know how much it's going to cost, I can borrow the money from my Christian sister.
Yeah.
I can't go, you know, even so, I can't even take her there to the, you know, the emergency room, because whatever they're going to charge me, I got to have that money. I don't have that money. that's why I was wanted to take her to Pulaski, because I can make arrangements of paying them the next following day once I get all the cash. They're not. I don't think this an emergency room is going to do that for me because I'm not a client.
So you had to have cash?
Yeah, Stephanie had to pay up front.
Yep.
For $1,700.
Oh.
And I had to pay them $700 when I took him on the north side with snow. So I have to get my credit card, and if it's too little, they'll reimburse me. Yeah, so $1,700 Stephanie had to pay.
And that was a one.
All right, hey Chuck, can we do this? Could you just drive me to the clinic, and I'm going to talk with them, because they're not. You know what? Even if I brought the dog, the girl I spoke to was adamant that they're not going to take her. So I'm going to have to, try to get a sooner date, maybe within the next day or two. And what I got to find out what I need to be doing in case she has another one of these attacks.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, but okay, bring that. Oh, you said you got the list of the emergency places.
Yeah, they sent it to my.
Say you gotta pay ahead of time.
Yeah, I had to do it 2 years ago with
Well,
she had to do it in October. She had to give her her credit card, and they got to see them and everything, and they determined, yeah, you have to pay them.
Yeah, and see, at least with Pulaski Animal Hospital, I could pay maybe half down and send the next next amount within the next day or few days. This is. I'm livid right now, Chuck. I am livid. I'm shaking. I can't believe that this is what they're telling me.
I know. I imagine that's what Stephanie said too when they told her to pay ahead of time.
Well, I mean, unless she took her to an emergency room where it's not their dog's primary care facility, then I can understand. This is what it would be for me. This is not a primary care facility to take either one of my girls.
Right. No, I know. That's the thing. And, well, I don't know what to tell you.
I know, Chuck. Would you mind if, because I gotta, and I don't want to. I'm afraid to leave them any longer than I have to.
Right. So what do you want me to do?
Could you drive me over there, and I'm gonna have to talk to him. I'm not gonna take no for an answer.
Alright. But then, if you don't bring the dog with you, well, once you get there, I guess maybe you can set up an appointment?
Yeah, well, that's what I'll have to do. That's what I need to do. Because they're saying the next one is not till next month. Come on. If this is an emergency, I mean, I'm sure there's something you can do. Maybe if not Dr. Collada, maybe, someone else. And if they can have her see someone else tomorrow, if not Dr. Collada, then I'll bring her in tomorrow. If you can, if they'll do that, and if you're able to do that.
What do we got to do tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Thursday? I know. Okay.
Even if I can set up, where we, just drop her off there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I said, if you can't do nothing on the phone, I don't know what they're going to do for you once you go in there. But
Well, see, the thing, if I'm there on the phone with them, they can't hang up on me or put me on hold again.
yeah, it's true. All right. Well, I don't know. I guess if you want to try it, we'll have to play.
I'll give you money for gas, Chuck. I'll give you money.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about nothing like that. I'm just saying as long as,
Yeah. All right. So I'll head over to your place right now.
Well, the car's in the bag, so I'll take it around and bring it to the front.
All right. I'll wait outside. Thanks, Chuck.
All right, no problem.
Bye. I'm sorry. I got to take her to the hospital. Okay, today is April 13th, 2023, 11:42 a.m. Alright, so I'm going to give it a short synopsis of this. I don't know if I should even refer to it as a problem. Yeah, well, it could be a problem. I think it's a problem. I've taken my girls, my angels, Hippie and Misha, to a vet, and they're established clients. It'll be 15 years come May 5th, at least, and never had a problem until things started getting a little worse for me financially, and with my girls getting older. I'm referring to Hippie and Misha, their Sharpays. Prior to the pandemic, I noticed that when it came to seeking information or needing to speak to a doctor concerning issues with Hippie and Misha. Hippie was more of the allergies. Misha, not so much until we had problems with her teeth, and they don't call when you call them. And I understand they're busy, and that's why I always tell them, if the doctor's busy, if he can just call me before he leaves, after he's punched out, and just have a few questions. It wouldn't take maybe no more than 5-6 minutes. Or I have to speak to their manager of the office, who happens to be Cheryl. That's her name, and that's where the problem starts. It seems that times that I need to speak to someone, they always refer me to Cheryl, and that was fine. That was fine. It was when I never received a call back from Cheryl is when the problem started arising. And this has happened numerous times. I even, at one point, there was an issue with Misha. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it wasn't too long ago. It was sometime last year, in the early summer, possibly. It was warm weather at the time, I know that. And I happened to be at a friend's house, my Christian sister's house, and she had company over, and I had a call again a second time, because I had left a message with their clinic, and it's not a hospital as they claim. I was told I would get a phone call back, and I think at that time Misha was real sick, and I called, I left a message, and the girl said, yes, we will call right back. I'll have the doctor call right back. I'm like, okay. So doctor never called, and it turned out that the doctor wasn't even in that day. So, and I gave the doctor's name clearly to the girl, so she should have known that that particular doctor was not in the office that day. It was probably his day off. So I called the next day, because one of my girls had gotten a little worse. And I was like, hey, whoever answered the phone, I said, where's the call? And I said, my girl's sick. Well, they said, well, we're busy right now, but let me have Cheryl call you. So I waited, and Cheryl called about an hour later, and she got on the phone. Now, I didn't yell at the girl. I mean, I probably had a tone where I was upset, but I wasn't yelling. You know, there's a difference between being upset, you know, and yelling like a lunatic. If I was to do that, you would know it, because I wouldn't hold back. I'll let you know in undefining terms. So I began to say, "Ho, slow down. What do you mean I'm yelling at your employee? I didn't yell." And I just said, "Listen, here's the problem. If you claim that you're going to tell the doctor about my call to speak with him, I'm going to take you for your word." And I waited, and my girl's sick. You're a hospital. Well, right away she became defensive, and she asked me, "Well, which girl is it?" And I told her, I said, "Cheryl, I don't know, but I can tell you the time that I called, and whoever was working during that time, it's one of whoever was working that day. So maybe you need to ask who spoke with Mr. Ortiz. You know, simple as that." And she became very defensive, very rude. And now I remember, it was an issue with dog food. And it wasn't Misha. It was Hippie. She was eating some dog food that was contaminated with phenobarbital from the manufacturer, and Hippie became very sick from it. And I noticed there was blood in there, in her urine. So yeah, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. So, and I proceeded to tell her, because I found out that there is no FDA regulations on dog food, on, you know, determining what goes into it and what cannot go into it. So you're pretty much, dog food manufacturers can give you just about anything they want. All they got to do is change the way they describe it on their ingredients label, such as meat products or meat byproducts. Well, meat's good. What kind of meat? Well, here, the only way you get phenobarbital in dog food is well, phenobarbital is what they euthanize animals, dogs, cats, horses, you know, maybe even roadkill, if they have to put down an animal that was hit by a car humanely. I found out the name of these people that do that. Alright, so when your dog passes away, if you take him to a vet, if you don't take your pet's remains home with you to, you know, either bury them in the yard or, you know, whatever you do with them, they call the service that picks up animals that have been euthanized from clinics and other institutions that care for animals, and they take them to a processing plant that will strip your animal of their fur. They go through some sort of treatment process to reduce or try to remove any chemicals or whatever, I don't know. But these places, they're known as renderers. It's a service. They pick up the pet's remains from the clinic or the vet's office, take it to their processing plant. They process your animal's remains, and they take whatever meat they feel is okay to put in your dog food. And I expressed that to Cheryl, and her comment was, "Fake news, fake news." No, it's not fake news, because there's a news article from 1998, channel K5, I'm assuming Kansas maybe, I don't know, but they're doing an interview with this, he's a CEO of a, I don't know what he is, but he explains, and he tells the reporter, the FDA has no regulations that or guidelines for food processor or dog food processors to follow in regards on what goes into your dog's meal. And he mentions in the video during the filming with the news crew that it could be horses, rabbits, you know, any type of animals, even your pooch. And I don't know if he referred to him as pooch, but you know, he refers to him as the canine in one way or another. Fido, maybe he could give, or something, but a dog's name, and you get the gist of it. You know what he's talking about. When I found that out, that was the last. That day ended any wet dog food or commercial dog food I would ever give my girls ever again. And from that point on, that day forward, all their meals has been human grade food. I started researching, Googling, finding out what type of ingredients are acceptable to give dogs and what are not, which ingredients I should avoid at all costs, what are the health benefits of certain vegetables, stuff like that. And from there, I've created meals for my girls, treats even, especially ones to address their skin fur issue. They have allergies because they're Shar-Peis. You got to be careful about, you know, making sure they don't get yeast infections under their folds. You gotta be really careful. So that's what I did. I created dog treats that was loaded with fresh fruits or frozen fresh fruits and berries, especially. They were high antioxidants, high in minerals and vitamins, and especially vitamins that address skin care for my dog, my girls. I don't like referring to them as dog, even though they are, I know, but the relationship that I have with them is, they're well beyond that. They're my children. So that's what I've been doing. And today I am going to call because now my girls, it could be any moment now. So I found out Hippie's got cancer and her kidneys are shutting down. Misha's, I gotta whisper because dogs do understand. They hear, and Misha loves to eavesdrop. She's not doing too well. She's weakening, I can tell. I'm treating her with fluids under her fur to flush her kidneys because she has renal failure. About a little more than 4 weeks ago, we got her test result back because there was something going on with her, and I wanted to have it checked out, and we found out that only 25% of her kidneys were functioning. So the doctor suggested I administer fluids under her fur to have it absorbed in her body to help flush out the toxins in her kidneys, and that's what I started doing. Shortly after, Hippie had an episode, and I called the next day that that was an escapade that didn't pan out too well. Again, the issue was getting callbacks. If somebody says they're going to call you at a certain time, that's fine. If you're busy, maybe you should judge the amount of time before you call a client back with whatever information they requested, instead of just guessing, like saying, "Oh, we'll call you back in about a couple of minutes." That's what I was told. Didn't get a call back in a couple of minutes that day. It was almost, well, actually, it was a little over an hour. Not much over, but a little over an hour. So I called again, and the girl answered, and she said, "Well, right now we're in the process of confirming appointments. As soon as we know who's coming in and who isn't, we'll set up a time for you to bring her in today." I said, "Okay." And she goes, "Give me a half hour." I waited a half hour. 12:15, no call from the clinic. I call them back and I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, this is the second time I've been calling. I was told that I'd be getting a call back. This is serious. My dog had a seizure. And even the first girl I spoke to at the clinic said, you know, yeah, you need to bring her in. It's serious. So, the girl's name was Maria. And she said, well, the girl that you spoke to at 9 o'clock said that something like that, you know, you should take her into an ER. And then I explained to her, well, you're a hospital. And she goes, well, yeah, but right now we're, you know, busy, I guess. And she suggested an ER. Now, I don't recall, and I'm pretty sure she didn't say she was going to text me a list of places I can take them. So, if you listen to their voice message, well, it's not a message, it's like a message board, yeah. When they put you on hold, you listen to their like elevator music, and they get like ads and, you know, what's going on and things you should know, tips. And then there's a comment that's made on there while you're waiting that says, for established clients, we will set up a drop-off so you can drop off your beloved pet, and when time allows, we will, you know, have them looked at, and then we'll call you when we're done so you can come and pick them up. That's the best next thing I could do, then that would be fine. That's what you're advertising, and my girls fall into the category of established clients. They've been there close to 15 years. So when I spoke with this Maria, she said, well, you got a list. And I said, well, wait a minute, what list? I didn't get anything. And she said, well, the girl says she texted to you. I said, well, she mentioned, you know, something about an ER, but she didn't tell me she was going to text me, or, you know, a list of places. And I checked, but sure enough, she did. And I'm like, okay. And she then said, yeah, we cannot, you know, we're just too busy to see your dog. And, you know, I was dumbfounded. And I said, okay, thanks. And I hung up. And then I looked over at Hippie. And I saw how she was. And I realized, no, that's unacceptable. And now the message on their message board while I was waiting kept running through my head. And I said, we are established clients. We should have been offered that service. I don't know why they didn't. And if they can't do it, then they should remove it off that message board that you have to listen to while you're waiting for them to come back to speak with you. So I tried calling again, and it just kept going to voice message, you know, with Cheryl's voice on it. I don't know if they got like a call block, if they know who's calling, and if it's someone they don't want to talk to, they just don't answer. But I wasn't going to allow that to stop me, so I called one of my neighbors. I said, could you do me a favor? I need to go to the clinic, and I need to set them straight. And he drove me there. Now, this is someone that, the only person that I know that's available during the day, but he's handicapped as well, and he's not familiar with wherever these places they were going to send us, because I think there was like 6 places, 5 or 6. 4 of these places that have ERs is, you know, they're suburban areas, locations, and there's only 2 that were on this list that were in the city, but they were on the far north side of the city. And by the time, you know, I looked at the list, and I saw that one of them closed at either 3, the other one closed at 5. By the time we would get there, one of them would be closed, and we would be too far north. This person that I'm depending on can't wait with me, and there's no telling how long I would have to wait in a new clinic to register, have the dog looked at, my girls looked at. And so when I got there, I said, no. I said, you know, you don't understand. My dog's suffering right now. You are her clinic. The doctors know Hippie and Misha. No one else does. You have all their health records. No one else does. And the girl says, well, we can't do nothing. And I know at that point, I started getting upset. I didn't start screaming or yelling, and I pointed it out. I said, listen, you claim you're a hospital, you know, then you should have an ER room. And when there's an emergency, there's some messages on your voice board says if you have an emergency, bring your pet in so we can try to, you know, treat it right away before it gets worse. And she was like, well, that's something you have to take up with management. And I said, well, we are established clients, whether you know it or not. And I think at that point, I started to raise my voice. I'll admit it, because it was really starting to get to me. I suffer from mental health issues. I'm just not in a good place right now, mentally. And one of the girls stepped in, and she was a nice girl, and she goes, Mr. Ortiz, hang on just a minute. And she went in the back, and maybe a minute or less than a minute later, she comes out, she goes, Mr. Ortiz, we'll take Hippie. Can you bring her in? I said, I don't have her here. She's at home. But I'll go home and get her. And she goes, as long as you don't mind waiting, we'll see her. I'm like, I don't care as long as you see her. So I got back in my friend's car. I told him, let's go back to the neighborhood. Let me go grab Hippie, and would you please drive me back? And he did that. And we saw Hippie, and they saw Hippie. And the doctor told me that they did the ultrasound, and they found a tumor in her stomach, and that depending on what they find will determine whether or not they should operate. Because of her age, he said he warned me that there's times that when they're that old, they may not pull through the surgery. It would just be too much for them. And if it's the cancer spread or the tumor spread to other vital organs, it wouldn't look good. But there's the option of a surgery as long as the blood isn't tainted. So we had to do blood tests. Well, the next day we got results from blood tests, and it wasn't good. And on top of it, they found that her Hippie's kidneys were failing. So now he said Hippie's kidneys were failing. Misha's in the same situation, but what was suggested was these treatments with electrolyte fluids under the fur to help flush the kidneys of the toxins. So it was a Friday that I brought her in, and when I left, I was in so much shock I didn't even think about what he said until when I got home. And hang on, Hippie. I was wondering, well, why didn't he recommend flushing Hippie's kidneys as well? So I waited till Monday, and I called and I asked the doctor, could I do this with Hippie? Flushing her kidneys. Now I had to wait till the end of the day to speak with him, so it was already late Monday afternoon, going on 5. And he goes, well, yeah. I said, okay, and that's what I'll do. So Tuesday, I started administering I bought a month's supply of these electrolyte fluids for Misha's Fuge, or whatever you want to call it, the flushing. But if I have to do this with Hippie every other day, because I have to, do it every other day, I guess, with her as well, I would need more, because what I bought for Misha would just go like that. So I need it for 2 girls, or 2 pets now. So Wednesday, after I spoke with Dr. Collada, and he said, yeah, you can give the treatments. His words was it wouldn't hurt, but he didn't tell me. He didn't give me the dosage. He didn't tell me, when he was going to give me a prescription. So when I called for the prescription, I asked, can you find out, when I could get a prescription? And then I said, listen, this is what Misha's getting on her prescription. Is it possible to get the same amount, 2 refills of this electrolyte fluids, plus the drip lines and whatever else for Hippie? The girl goes, well, let me ask the doctor. And she went, and she comes back, and she goes, her name, this was Maria again. She goes, you know what, I'm going to have Cheryl call you back. And when she told me that, I was like, oh God. Okay. And she goes, if not Cheryl, I'll call you back before the end of the day. This was yesterday. And here we are, the next following day, and I still don't have a call. So I'm going to call them now, and I want to hear what kind of reasoning or excuse they're going to give me for not calling. Why Cheryl didn't call. Because that was the first person she mentioned was, Cheryl will call you. If Cheryl doesn't call you, I will call you. That's what Maria said. So let's do that. Let's call. Let's see, first of all, if they pick up the line. I honestly think they got a caller block. They have caller ID, and if they recognize the number of the person, they will determine whether or not they'll answer it. So when I spoke with them yesterday, it was on my phone. See that 1:15 p.m. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not, but it says 1:15 p.m. Pulaski Animal Hospital. Everything's like real bright. Okay, let's call. Put it on speaker so I can hear. This is my documentary for myself. I document everything for myself so I can refer to them back if I have to. It's ringing. That's Cheryl.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. For office hours and location, press 1. For after-hours emergencies, press 2. To leave a general message, press 3.
Thank you for calling Pulaski Animal Hospital. This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. For office hours and location, press 1. For after-hours emergencies, press 2. To leave a general message, press 3.
Well, that's odd because this is the first time they had 2 different voices repeating the same message.
Thank you for calling Pulaski Animal Hospital. This call... Please leave a detailed message with your name, phone number, and the reason for your call, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, this is David Ortiz. I'm calling in regards to Hippie's prescription. I called yesterday at 1:15, spoke with Maria. She told me that Cheryl would call me back before the end of the working day yesterday. If not from Cheryl, I would hear from Maria. And here we are the next day, and I still have not gotten a call back from either party. So I just need to know if I can get the prescription for Hippie. 2 refills, the same. I have to give Hippie the same thing I'm giving Misha, so I'm asking the same type of prescription for Hippie. That's it. phone number is 708-308-6331. It's 12:11 p.m. right now, and I'll continue to try calling you until I get an answer. Thank you. Now, that's the tone of voice I use when I speak with these girls at the front desk. Nothing belligerent, nothing foul. I'm showing the same amount of concern as a human parent would for their human children, even though they're not human. They're my family. They're my children that walk on floor and are covered with fur. See, the time that it's taking to get an answer, I should be able to know that I'm going to get quick response to either get the medications they need right away. Because right now I'm going to call Chewy. That's where I'm going to order from, because the stuff that they need, it's just a little more expensive. And right now, I'm just not in a position of doing that. I'm setting up a GoFundMe, a final GoFundMe for the girls to prepare for their journey. I can't afford a cremation, so I'm going to start a GoFundMe, and however long they have to be with me, I'm going to make it as comfortable for them as possible, provide them with whatever medication they want to give me. So that's going to be part of the request on the GoFundMe as well, is to help me pay for whatever medications till their time comes, and then have the funds to have their remains returned to me. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hang up right now. I'm just going to disconnect from this video. I'm going to call Chewy and then see what they say. Okay, it's still April 13th. It's now 12:44 p.m. I'm going to try calling Pulaski Animal Hospital again. Prior to starting the camera for my documentation, for my own records, I've tried calling again 5 times. I don't know if you can see it on the screen because of the brightness. I can't see it, so I'm assuming maybe you can or you can't either. But I called at 12:47 today. This will be call number 5, actually. So we'll see. We'll see who picks up, if they pick up. I'm dialing the number now, and I will put it on speaker. Oh, now the line's busy. Okay. Well, that's better than going to voicemail, right? Oh, now disconnected. So, try calling again. And it disconnects. So, what this tells me is they're getting my number and they're disconnecting it. I got sick pets. All I need is just to know if they can give me that prescription. 2 refills. That's all I'm asking. Try again. Here we go.
Pulaski Animal Hospital. This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. For office hours and location, press 1. For after-hours emergencies, press 2. To leave a general message, press 3.
Let's press 2.
Incorrect entry. Thank you for calling Pulaski Animal Hospital. This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes.
This is not Cheryl's
For
voice.
office hours and location, press 1. For after hours emergencies, press 2. To leave a general message. If you are calling after hours and have an emergency, please contact one of the following. Premier's Vets in Orland Park, 708-388-3771. Premier Vets Chicago on West Belmont, 773-516-5800. Or Med Vet Chicago on North California, 773-281-7110.
I think that last one they mentioned, after hours, they close at 5 as well. So why give that number if they're not going to be open at the time that you close as well? I don't understand that. Let me keep calling. Let's do this again.
Thank you for calling Pulaski Animal Hospital. Pulaski Animal Hospital, please hold.
Sure.
At Pulaski Animal Hospital, when your pet is sick, we offer a wide range of care for your pet. Our laboratory facilities, both in-house and out, allow blood, urinalysis, and parasite testing to be done quickly and provide accurate results to tests needed to treat your best friend. We offer consultation with specialists in the area of cardiology, orthopedics, and internal medicine. Ask one of our trained associates for more information about our lab services when we return shortly. Pulaski Animal Hospital is proud to be named one of the area's top clinics according to Chicago Magazine. In addition, we're also a member of the American Animal Hospital Association, AHA. AHA sets standards for veterinary hospitals to meet in areas such as patient care, client care, pain management, and many others. We regularly... Thank you for holding. Are you being helped already?
No, I'm not. Hi, this is David Ortiz. I'm calling for Hippie. I spoke with Maria yesterday. I was supposed to get a call back for Cheryl. If not from Cheryl, Maria was supposed to call me back about getting the same prescription refill that Misha has currently for the electrolyte fluids. I need to order that for Hippie, and I need to make sure when. Unfortunately, right now I'm going to have to order from Chewy until I can be able to afford what you guys charge for the fluids. Is anyone there? I mean, Dr. Collada suggests that I should help by doing the same thing I'm doing with Misha. Would you be able to find out if they are able to provide me with the same refill as Misha for Hippie? Because I'll be honest with you. Every time I call, they say they're going to call. They never do, and I understand you guys are busy, but especially when it comes with Cheryl, I would think as an office manager, even at the end of the day, she would call me back to at least let me know if they're going to be able to give me that prescription right away.
You get the fluids from us, the needles and the line, correct?
Well, I bought the fluids and the needles, but now that I have to do it for me, for Hippie as well, it's going to be, the expense is going to be just a little too much for me. So right now, I think for the time being, I have to order from Chewy because their fluids are about $10 or $9 less until I can start a GoFundMe for the girls to get them prepared for their final journey.
So you want to know if you could get the medicine for Hippie, the same one you get for Misha here, correct?
Right. I just need the same refill, and that way, I could get it from Chewy for the time being until I can afford getting it from you guys.
So yes, you could always pick up from us. If you order it from Chewy, did you place the order already online?
No, because I want to. Because they need to make sure that the prescriptions they're waiting when they call, and that's all I want. Just when they call, the prescription they'll know is for Hippie, whatever.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, hold on.
Nobody likes seeing a stray cat or dog wandering around the street or brought to a shelter. At Pulaski Animal Hospital, we offer spaying and neutering services to prevent unloved litters of pets. Spaying and neutering is recommended before 6 months. It can also improve your pet's health and life expectancy and eliminates the possibility of uterine, ovarian, and prostate cancer. We will be happy to answer any questions and schedule your pet's spaying and neutering appointment when we return in a moment. Our animal hospital is proud to be accredited by the American Animal Hospital Association, or AHA. We voluntarily have our hospital inspected by AHA on a regular basis, and our accreditation is their seal of approval on our exceptionally high standards. We pursue our AHA accreditation as a means of showing you just how much we care about your pet. Want to know more about what it means to be AHA accredited? Ask us today. Pets have teeth too. Imagine how you would feel if you didn't brush your teeth. Your pet. Thank you for holding. How can we help you?
Hi, is this Cheryl?
No, did you want to speak to me?
No. They're holding the. I'm trying to get a refill for Hippie, the same that I got for Misha for her fluids to flush her kidneys, and I just want to make sure that when right now I have to order from Chewy because it's less expensive, and I can't afford to buy the stuff right now from you guys if I'm buying for two.
Okay.
I just need the prescription for Hippie, same as prescription that I have for Misha. That's all.
Did you need the same prescription for Hippie that you have for Misha?
Yeah, Dr. Collada, when he spoke to me, informed me what was going on with Hippie. He suggested that the electrolyte flushing of the kidneys would be beneficial for Hippie. That's what I'm doing for Misha right now. Misha has a 2 refill prescription for 4 1 liter bottle bags of the electrolytes plus the drip lines and the needles. So I just need the same thing for Hippie for now, so I can place the order with Chewy until I can afford to purchase it from you guys.
So you placed the order on Chewy and
No.
we'll keep an eye out for it?
No.
What did they ask you for?
Okay, this is from when I ordered when I got the prescription for Misha. The problem was, they have to confirm the prescription. They've tried contacting you guys. They couldn't get through, so I finally had to do a 3-way. They managed, whoever I spoke to, they said, okay, Misha will get 2 refills on the electrolytes, 4 bags, 4 drip lines, and I guess the needles. So with that, Hippie's kidneys are in the same condition. Dr. Collada says it would be probably helpful. It wouldn't hurt to do the same treatment for Hippie. But they're going to need to see the prescription there waiting when they call. Because if they call and there's no prescription for Hippie waiting, so it's a lengthier delay until we get it, and then trying to get in contact with you guys because I know you're busy. I'm trying to expedite and eliminate any waiting period because I don't know how much time I have with her, and I don't want her to be in any pain.
Okay. Your callback number is 708-308-6331. I'm gonna speak to Cheryl. And
You know what?
make sure,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what it is with Cheryl, but we've had problems where she does not call back, and she knows it's me calling. So I don't know if there's some sort of animosity that she doesn't want to talk to me. So to talk to her does me no good. If you get this from Dr. because it's coming from Dr. Collada. If Dr. Collada says okay, please just have it ready, because I unfortunately I can't depend on Cheryl.
Okay, so Dr. Collada's off days is Thursday. If I could probably ask another doctor just for an approval, and if I have any more questions, I will work on this right now. I will call you at 708-308-6331.
Okay,
I will call you in a few minutes.
Okay, you know what? If that's the case, please tell Cheryl to call me, because I have to. I just got to confirm that this prescription will be waiting for.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll have Cheryl give you a call. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Bye bye.
Bye bye. It's coming from the doctor. Why this, maybe, miscommunication? When I asked him, would it be beneficial for this treatment for hippie as well? By asking, I would assume that he would know that's what would be my intentions, because he knows how I feel about both of them. I'm like this. I'm trying to keep a lid on this. I've already spoke with my therapist. I'm going to have to talk to my psychiatrist. This is not sitting right with me right now. And I'm like this. You heard how I talked, right? That's not yelling. And this is how I talk when I'm on the phone with them. Except for that one issue with Cheryl, where she demanded to know who I spoke with. And I got upset. I was like, Lee, you know what? This is the day that they worked. This is the time that I called. I don't know who they were, because at that time I was, I wasn't thinking about asking who I spoke with. I just wanted to see about treating my girls. The only time I really, and I know I was raising my voice, was when I went in there on Monday to tell them that, no, you have to see hippie now. And I was getting more upset because I told the girl, I'm an established client. If you're going to advertise while your clients are waiting for an answer that you offer drop-off service, then you should offer it. And if you don't know who you're speaking with, you should maybe ask, are you a established client? Have you been coming here currently for a period of time? If not, then, whatever. But if you are, then say, okay, listen, drop them off. We'll get to them whenever we can, but they will be looked at, and you can pick them up, and we can tell you what we found, what we suggest you do, what medications you should be providing them right now, but they don't do that. And like I said, I can tell that they were busy. But see how I wish I had done this sooner. And I don't know what it is. This is something with Cheryl, and I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. So, yeah, we will see how soon they call back. Okay, I'm gonna cut this for now. I'm gonna leave the camera app open, and if I see it's them calling back, I'll turn it on, because I want to document this to see what their reasoning is, because we're no longer in a pandemic, according to Joe Biden. I understand when they're busy, but please, if you're going to call, call. If you can't call, then leave a voice message and say, I'm sorry we weren't able to get an answer today. We'll try the first thing tomorrow, and that's that. At least I know that you're, I'm on your, on your mind, that you didn't forget about me. As far as I know, it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? Okay, let's see what happens.